the next bit is, how can you heal yourself? And I want to just talk about that, then we'll do a demonstration. And these 5 steps are inside the book. They are: redress your stress, release your toxicity, reduce your inflammation, rework your environment, and raise your energy. By the way, this wasn't something that just came up overnight. This was me working and understanding, working with some of the best people that I could come across around the globe. And I realized there's a lot more to than just healing the emotional stress. You can't just heal the emotional stress and it be okay. I cite one of the people that I know who studied all of Gerd Hammer's stuff, which is called Germanic New Medicine. And he said, well, everything is stress related. Yeah, absolutely. He believed that wholeheartedly, but he created a smart house, being that every single thing, all the light sockets, washing machine, fridge, TVs, the whole place was connected. One of the early adopters of all of that. Sadly to say, he's not here anymore. And I know the person that told me all about that is from Australia, and he said he went round to his house with special meters. I actually have one of these meters. Professional meters to measure his place. You can buy your own personal meter. Here's one as an example. We have to be careful of this stuff. Really, really careful. I'll explain why. You're bombarding your system and you're causing ongoing stress. So just solving the emotional side isn't all of it. It's about the same with genetically modified foods. You need to get them out of your system, so on and so forth. We'll talk a bit about that. So redressing your stress, releasing your toxicity. So I look at it in 2 ways on the 5 steps to healing. There's the way of healing the emotional side, for want of a better word, the stress that's triggering off the loss of relationship and all of that. But then there's also a physical stressful side of chemicals, heavy metals, which we'll look at all of that. Reducing your inflammation as well. And we were just having a conversation about the seed oils. Very much part of that. And the demonization of sugar. Sugar doesn't actually cause a significant amount of inflammation. We're told that it does, but actually the research is showing otherwise. Depends on the type of sugar that you're taking. For example, good quality sugars from fruit that's locally grown at that time in your environment, it's really very good for you. And the body needs it because the mitochondria function. We'll talk about mitochondria. They're little organs inside every single cell apart from blood cells. And they need glucose. Go figure. And a lot of it. And if we starve it from our bodies, it will go and take protein from our liver and make glucose anyway. It's really quite fascinating as you start to delve a little bit deeper into what's really going on. Reworking your environment. Ironically, this is all about the food in our systems. Notice it's a lot further down. This is sort of chronological. And then raising your energy. Could you imagine that the Yudin moment has an antithesis, a flip side of the coin, a total opposite? The body didn't create these horrible things as a mistake. It's actually trying to get you from one place to where you really should be, or need to be, or where you're destined to be. Fascinating, isn't it? So let's just talk about a little bit of that, then we'll do this demo. Redressing your stress. In order to heal, we find the Yudin energy where it came from and unplug it. That's my work. It's taken me a long time. There's lots of people within the Germanic New Medicine field, and I was talking with a guy called Danny earlier, as you saw, some of you saw me, and he was saying, oh, it's so political in that area. And they believe a specific way of doing things. Anyway, we're getting into politics and all that sort of stuff. But it was when I first came across this stuff, how do you really find what's going on? And there's some secrets. We can actually talk to the body. Go figure. You can actually have a communication with the body and ask the body various things. Who would ever say, oh, I've got a problem with my gut system, oh, and it's really caused me a problem? Well, let's go and have a chat. But, you know, well, what? Yeah, have you ever spoken to your guts? No. Well, let's ask it, you know, what couldn't you digest? Well, it's not telling me anything, but it's showing you pictures, right? Yeah. And it was, you know, say your mother-in-law or something like that, you know, it's common. That was a joke as well. Sorry to the mother-in-laws. Or something's happened inside the gut system and it shows you pictures. It doesn't sit there. My joke is with a whiskey and cigarette and say, hey, well, Richard, it's like this. When you were, you know, it doesn't work that way. It communicates very obviously, but we're told to ignore that stuff. By the way, it's probably intuition. We all have it. We're all capable of it. Or Tommy, oh yeah, that's Tommy Cooper, yeah. Oh, sorry. I love Tommy Cooper. I just thought it was so funny. For people that don't know who Tommy Cooper was, he was a comedian in the UK with a fez hat. And he talked like that. He had a lovely way of talking. Brilliant magician. Absolutely brilliant magician. Always get the magic wand. Look him up on YouTube. It will make you laugh. Anyway, we do this by learning and growing up from the Yudin and reconnect with where we came from. This is really fascinating because most therapies that I've come across, and bear in mind I've studied so many of them, they're great, but they just either don't get something or miss something, or we need to just do it. So I'll show you what that is to clear this Yudin moment. And how we find the Yudins is we work back from the storm. So we go into the heart, we go into the brain layer, we go into the gut system, and we go into the water. Now, why is this all relevant? Is because the heart has its own nervous system, right? The brain has its own nervous system. The gut has its own nervous system. But you were never told that. They can operate outside of the body, admittedly not for very long, but you can take a heart and it will keep beating and then put it in someone else. That's a good example. And it has its own nervous system. And even there have been various surgeons, heart surgeons, where they put another heart into someone else and say this person who's never eaten, say, a French fry in their life, and then suddenly has a craving for French fries. It's called The Heart's Code, this book, where they transplanted a heart. The person never drank beer and then suddenly was on motorbikes and drinking beer because the heart came from a young boy and he loved motorcycles and drank beer. So she started doing that. And it happens with other organs. One of my students had another kidney, and she'd lost one kidney or it was very badly damaged. And so they took a kidney out of someone else and put it in there around the other kidney, and it helped it regrow. And I think he liked Indian food. She said, I hated Indian food, but now I absolutely adore it. And she found out that he really liked that. So these organs actually have an intelligence to them. So what we do is we work back from the storm, we go into the heart, the brain, the belly, and the water. Now the water's amazing stuff. In the book it's got a water around it because water is structured. I think actually, yeah, here we are. Structured water, mitochondria, melanin. And we communicate with the cells to find the real purpose of the Yudin. I don't want to go into too much science on it because the last time when I did it, people went and fell over. All right? But I love it, so I'm a bit, you know. But I want to show you. You see, this is a cell. And around the outside is a fat, a lipid. And make a note of that, so I'll share something with you. Inside is the nucleus. And inside all of that is water. And the little brown dots are mitochondria. And connected with the mitochondria, melanin. Now, you probably didn't realize, but melanin is, you know, when you go out into the sun, that's the bit that it goes dark. But melanin is, now this is absolutely amazing. If you take a cell phone, mobile phone. So what is melanin? Melanin is a transistor, basically. Now, what is a transistor? When you have a cell phone, inside your cell phone, you just have multiple little transistors. You've come across them, they're called central processing units, and there's also the memory and all those other types of things. So that is how, basically, that's how transistors are made, they take information in, they compute it, and then throw information out. And you think about a mobile phone. Can I borrow someone's mobile phone? I'm not going to open it up or anything. So we take a mobile phone, and how we communicate with a mobile phone is we touch, we look, we listen, we feel. It can give us some tactile response, and just did a little click then, as an example. So that's the senses, and we can't smell and taste on it yet, but that may come. Now, so the mobile phone's an amazing piece of kit, and it's got loads and loads of transistors in there. And that's how it shows you the information. So it takes information from outside through the electromagnetic fields, and then translates it into something that we can see, hear, feel, and touch. However, what happens when you accidentally throw this into the toilet? Which happens, doesn't it? Let's be honest. Everybody's lost a mobile phone.
Before it was.
Oh yeah, before it wasn't, but now they're a little bit better. Yeah, I've done that. I threw mine into, we have a hot tub at home, and I was reading and then dropped it, and the rest is history, isn't it? They can't function with water. Why? It's because they are based on, they basically are damaged by water. So you have these little mini transistors, which we call central processing units. Well, melanin, which are flat, this stuff is all flat. The chips inside this are flat. Well, melanin is like one of these transistors, and you have it inside your body, but it's not flat. It's three-dimensional. And what it does, it also does something else. It's not made from silicon, which is sand basically, or glass, which is what these are made from. It's made from carbon. And guess what happens when you drop it, that is melanin, in water? It loves it. It thrives on water. Drop this, done. So the whole point I'm saying is you have a central processing unit. You are the central processing unit. Your top, your bottom, your left, your right, your front and your back is your central processing unit. You are full of melanin throughout the whole of your body, which allows us then to communicate, receive information and throw it back. Mitochondria, though, I'll give you a little bit of information about mitochondria. Mitochondria are inside every single cell. Melanin and mitochondria are connected. Mitochondria are the energy centers of the cell. Were you aware of that? Who here has heard of mitochondria or not heard of it? Yeah. Mitochondria are in every single cell in your body bar blood cells, except for very young ones. And mitochondria, what they do is they're not human. They produce heat. They run at 10 to 15 degrees centigrade higher than you do as a human. They have a cycle called the Krebs cycle, or the citric acid cycle, give you an idea about various sort of things. They're incredible. There are anything from a couple of hundred to tens of thousands in certain cells. The highest density of them are in the retina and the heart and women's ovaries. Over 10,000 per cell. Isn't that incredible? So they're based on bacteria. Okay? Now, do you remember making jelly when you were a kid, or Jello? How do you make jelly or Jello? We're talking about structured water now. But it has to be hot water. Hot water, and that powder is a protein powder. And then what happens? You leave it to cool, and then it solidifies. What do you think this stuff is inside here? Heat from the mitochondria, which requires glucose, and there's protein in this stuff too. Add a fat layer around the outside and you have a cell. Something else strange about this water, which is structured inside our cells, is it has an electrical field. It's actually negatively charged. It's all explained in the book. So you go, well, hang on a minute. So we are made of magnetism and electrical fields run by bacteria inside every single cell. WTF? What, really? Yes, I'm sorry, that's how it is. And guess what kills off these little, the mitochondria, what it hates, what just absolutely stresses it to high heaven. Think. Stressful events. Adrenaline, cortisol, thyroxine, estrogen, and testosterone. In enormous quantities continuously being repeated. Now, yeah, you sort of go, oh, okay, so, and the mitochondria, if you stress them too much, they just switch off. So you get people with chronic fatigue syndrome. Make sense? The places that actually have the most problems are mentally, because there's more mitochondria in the brain, in the retina, in the heart, and for women in the ovaries. Testicles don't seem to be, not so many there. You get your mitochondria from your mum, not from the man. And we're going to go, yay, divine female, we are really in. It's true, that's very, very important. The nucleus inside the cell is a bit dumb. It requires information in order to run. So the water holds an electrical charge, which is like a battery inside your mobile phone, by the way. So without mitochondria functioning, without melanin being able to communicate, and without structured water, you're done. You don't actually, we have to look after those three things as if our life depends on it. End of story. Doctors were told originally to kill all bacteria. As they did it, they killed off all the mitochondria. Guess what kills mitochondria really, really well for cancer patients? Think. Yep. And one more? Right. Just absolutely destroys them. Doesn't sort of make sense, does it? Makes a lot of money. One cancer patient is worth $1 million. One. For every person in cancer who's got cancer, there are 4 people working on it. It's an enormous business. I'm okay with the business, I'm not worried about that. It's just a bit skewed, that's what my thinking is, it's skewed. So how to clear udins, let's talk about that, because these are important. This field, especially around the heart, which has the biggest field, it produces the biggest field around us, creates an equator. Have you ever thought, looking at, say, the Earth and also our solar system, have you ever thought, why is it we go around the sun and we don't actually go over the top and underneath and all that? It's because we actually have equator and a field around the Earth, and admittedly it's at an angle, but we actually go around in a plane. Well, you also have, likewise, a field around you. And there is like an equator that goes around you based on your heart. And the research is showing as well that we can actually map this field that goes all the way around you. That you have a field around you when there's, that's all woo-la. No, it's not. It's real. Don't enter my space. Yes, absolutely. It's there. It's nothing unusual about it. Yeah, you're told, oh, don't do that. That's, an intuition. Oh, no. Your field can go as far as, I think actually they've been able to measure it, I'm not sure, but the Heart Math Institute, I met Ronan McCratty years ago, lovely man. I think he's heading it up now. And they went into a special chamber. They were measuring it out 80 feet away. What's that? 30 meters away? It's a lot. It probably goes even further. In fact, there is research. Sorry?
We were told 6 feet.
Yeah. No, it's way, way, way bigger than that. But it goes down also and hooks up with the field around Mother Earth. So you can have a connection with someone in another part of the world genuinely. And there's some stuff called scalar fields. And I researched into that, and that's basically showing that too. It's crazy. Well, yeah, and that's how we can actually prove that it does that. Through we're talking about, remote healing, using exactly those things. So in other words, we go, is it real? Yeah, it's real. Open our world up to this, and suddenly other things can come in that were blocked. On purpose, it seems. It seems on that way. Not all of it, but it's the agenda. It's the same thing. And it's your fear of influence. Now, what I also worked out was that this is really interesting, because I noticed that something else happened. Is that Yudin moments, quite interestingly, and I remember this, you remember the guy Tim with the diabetes? Tim and I in 2002, 2003, I forget the date exactly, were experimenting. And we built a sort of field around us, and then I said, well, what happens if we have a problem? And we both got separate individual problems, and then we went into the sort of field around us, and in one of those places, that problem didn't exist. And both him and I were going, what is going on? That was in 2003. 2017, I started playing again with it. I don't know why I left it so long. And what I found was really interesting. This field around us sort of has a field around us on the upper left and the right, and a lower and an upper half. And in one place, when we go and we have a Yudin moment, a horrible experience that can absolutely throw us out, and we keep being reminded of it, in one place, in one of those 8 areas, it doesn't exist. There's no energy there. Can we access the pictures? Yeah. The sounds? Yeah. But we don't have any stress around it. How damn useful is that? However, when you went back into your body, it was still around you. So I started experimenting with this with clients, and I would get them to go to this place, and then I worked out, well, what would happen if I just asked them to learn something? So I would say, what do you need to learn? And the energy of the other places would just go down. I said, and then I worked out, if I said, well, how do you grow up from this? And they would go, well, I've got to do this, because really it's all about growing up, isn't it? If you notice, you don't actually get younger, you can't reverse your age. Even the people that are doing the reversal of age can't seem to go backwards, but they can stay at that particular place. Quite interesting. Then it gets a little bit more interesting, because I thought, well, I'm not really religious, but I know there's something else out there. What happened, oh, by the way, let me just play this. In one area that the Yudin does not exist, okay, there's just no energy there, right? All right, just trying to make a point. What happens if we go outside of this cube and fly around it mentally, looking at it, listening to the orchestration, getting a feel for all the stuff? And what I also then noticed, if we really have shifted the energy, and I say, well, merge back in with creator from where you came. This was just completely bizarre. I didn't know why I was doing it. I was just like, have a go. They would come back in, and the whole thing has shifted. Not just the Yudin moment, but all the garbage that was connected to it, everything just gone. And they come back in, they go, yeah, and I would remind them of all their garbage and all their stuff. They go, no. But you spent most of your life focused on this particular problem and everything else that dictated your life. Yeah, wasted a lot of time, didn't I? And they're like Manana, it's like, who cares? Lovely. So there's no stress being triggered, then the body can go back in, do it, complete its healing, and stuff is done. And it seemed quite magical. And it is quite magical. I'm making it very simple, because actually in reality it's a little bit more complicated. But has anybody come across the work of Joe Dispenza?
Yeah.
Brilliant man. So he's actually doing that, but he does it through meditation. And I've done some of his stuff, great. And he's American, and so that doesn't work for me. Nothing wrong with Americans, because I love them. Got lots of friends that are Americans. And he's very shouty, and I went, could we do this a different way? And this is it. So the research is proving what we're doing here. Because I was doing this and going, why is this working? Looked at the research and went, oh, Joe, he's actually done the work. Great. So again, this isn't ooh la la, it's real. And this is a bit more focused way of being able to do it on an individual basis. So, and you're seeing here, it seems that we have spirit above us, or Father Sky, Mother Earth below, We actually have a masculine and a feminine side on the left and the right hand side. That relates also to a lot of brain stuff as well, and depression, mania, asthma, anxiety, loads of stuff around there, those two. And a future and a past, front and back. Seems to be how we're made up. It's quite interesting now, those fields. Anyway, releasing your toxicity, there's the other 5 steps. We have to as well, using that similar process I've just shown you for the eudaimoniums, you clear toxic relationships. Anybody got any toxic relationships? Well, I'm sure we've all had some, haven't we? But also, and I said there isn't just clearing of the emotions, you have to do the other work. Electromagnetic fields. You know, you have to get rid of those in your environment. There's a reason why. Mitochondria. When you are exposing your mitochondria to electromagnetic fields, releases a stress response. In the same way that you might cut yourself, the body produces something called peroxynitrite, which is a very pernicious chemical designed to clean up where you've just cut. It's designed to do that. Well, when you're surrounded by Wi-Fi radiation, you are releasing peroxynitrite into your system continuously. So it's totally under stress all the time, and it doesn't get to relax. You probably know that if you've ever slept with a mobile phone by your head or with a Wi-Fi router in your room, you find you don't sleep very well. You just don't get that deep sleep. It's because this stuff is continuously waking you up. You can't see it, but actually if you get relevant meters, you can certainly note it. You can see it. So in my house, we don't put the Wi-Fi router on. Everything is connected via wires. Everything. Until very recently, we had no Bluetooth, and suddenly we bought a Bluetooth speaker and we were measuring and going, oh, damn. So we're trying to find a way we can actually switch off the Bluetooth and just connect things via wire. Bluetooth is like Wi-Fi. Your mobile phone is the same thing. So if you have your mobile phone and it's close to your body, it's dumping a lot of electromagnetic fields. So the key is to understand it is switch your, if you want just a basic understanding, switch the Wi-Fi routers off at night, including the TP-Links. Just switch them all off.
Is it enough to have it on airplane mode?
Airplane mode, you're fine with that. But you need, for it to have no effect on you several meters away. But even just if you need it because you need to be in contact with someone, a foot away and it dramatically goes down in the amount of influence it has on your body. So, but the key is don't have it next to your body, because it really is bugging your whole system up. Because the whole thing is connecting up with the tower, coming back and saying, hello, are you around? I am around. Have I got any messages? No. Have I got any messages? No. Have I got any messages? Oh no. And it just keeps doing that all day long. And that's sending that information into you. And the information from Wi-Fi is not very nice. Is anybody familiar with thrash metal? It's horrible. Some people love thrash metal. I don't particularly like it. Compare that with Mozart. Imagine you've got some nice music with thrash metal, with jazz, nothing wrong with jazz either, but progressive jazz, let's add it in. And then you've got a cacophony of other things all going on. That's what Wi-Fi is like, and it's going into your body continuously. And the body goes, ah, and stresses you. So it's releasing adrenaline, cortisol and everything. It's equivalent to smoking 20 cigarettes a day, if that mobile phone is close to you. So is it going to kill you? No. Is it going to age you? Yeah, significantly. Take years off your life. So the key thing is be aware of it, mitigate it, and you'll sleep better. Blue light. See these lights here? They're called block blue light. These do not have the extra blue light. All LEDs have a massive spike of blue light, which they didn't need to put in, but they did. And the blue light, have you ever noticed if you're on your mobile phone late at night, past about 1:45, well, whatever time, you don't sleep that well? It's because it's tricking, your whole body works along with a circadian rhythm based on the sun coming up and then going down at night. And if you want to keep yourself well, then you really need to be outside in sunlight in that on a regular basis. And stay away from the mobile phones, especially during the night and in front of your screens. You can actually buy glasses. I think I have some. And it certainly saved my eyes. My eyes were really deteriorating. I started wearing the glasses because I've been a lot on computers, writing and stuff like that. And they're special block blue light glasses. Microplastics, all plastics again, damage the mitochondria. Same thing. Heavy metals, just a proliferation of them from geoengineering. And don't believe me, you say, oh, that's not real. It is. You look at Wikipedia and they say, oh, they've been doing it since the 1950s, spraying our skies. The jet engine fuel is full of different horrible chemicals. And I don't know what they're doing, but they're wanting to alter the weather. That's supposedly how it is. Same people running the same idiots doing that. Pesticides and herbicides, big one is Roundup. That was the whole thing behind that second book. Mold as well. I wrote a whole chapter on mold. Want to be very careful. Mold loves Wi-Fi. Go figure. There is mold growing on the toe of Chernobyl's reactor down in the basement. Mold. How does it do that? It loves it. It's designed to eat it. And many drugs, chemotherapy is a good example. A lot of drugs are actually very highly toxic to the body, which is why in America you see people walking around with bags, so they've got the drug. And then they've got another drug to deal with the side effect, another drug to deal with the side effect of that drug they're taking to deal with the side effect, and so on and so forth. You got a question?
Yeah, it's different.
Well, there are. Yeah, the question is molds in the fridge. Let's look at Roquefort somewhere as a cheese. It's full of molds. Absolutely fine for you. We're talking about the molds, the black molds. You know, you get it often in the US in bathrooms, and you'll open up, say, the placo wall, and you'll look behind it. That's really dangerous, that stuff, and that takes people out. It really does. I talk about it in the book. We've only got a couple more. Reduce your inflammation, clear the fight, flight, freeze, flop, fiend stored in the limbic brain. I developed something around that. It's very fascinating, where you can reduce the actual swelling. You see this foot there? I've worked with clients where their whole leg, just one leg, absolutely swollen up, and we cleared that out. Using this particular way of thinking, the whole leg after 24 hours has gone back close to its normal size. Over time it will go. So this is really fascinating, because it's all to do with the fear, the flight, flight, freeze response. And we know why. So go figure, you can do that. By the way, doctors have no remedy for that. None. The thing that they use is cortisol, steroids. So that's what's going on when you take a steroid. It stops the body producing more water, but doesn't actually stop the inflammation. What also causes inflammation is linoleic acid, which are the seed oils. I was talking about that earlier. You want to be very, very, very careful. It's something that was recently introduced into our diets, and it's in every single processed food. Just be careful with it. You've been told it's good for your heart. It's not good for your heart. I can explain it in one simple way. They're called polyunsaturated fats. So these are long chain fats, and a couple of the chains that are connected with carbon are missing. They're hydrogen molecules. So what the body does is it starts to cause a problem, because the body is trying to fill those gaps. Mitochondria do not like that. But what is happening is all those seed oils are now producing the fat around your cells. It doesn't work. So consider that with a saturated fat, where the fat has got none of this stuff missing, and the cells are absolutely fine. You can tell it, because if you start eating butter, and after about 6 months, instead of adding seed oils into your diet, you can go outside and be outside in the sun, direct sun, for hours and hours and hours and not burn. I know, I've done it. I've been sunbathing for hours and gone, right, have I burnt yet? No. Look at me, I'm burning, I'm not burning, I've gone brown. I'm out in the sun a heck of a lot, shirt off. Crazy, isn't it? No sunscreen. Another thing is, don't wear sunglasses either. because you're telling the brain, if you wear sunglasses, it says I need more and more sun. So you take the sunglasses off and you don't have a problem. I haven't worn sunglasses in years. There are odd occasions you might have actually worn it when you were in the snow and there's beating down. You go, well, I can't see a thing, but that'd be about it. Fascinating, isn't it? It's in the book as well. Avoid burning at any cost. And you can't just go off and do this if you've got loaded up with linoleic acid, which is from the seed oils. And the question was about olive oil. Well, most of the Italian olive oil is laced with seed oils because it's highly profitable. Yeah, same thing, different day, isn't it? Inflammation is part of the healing, but too much causes pain and multiple other issues. In fact, the word for cancer actually is derived from, I think it's the Latin or the Greek, which means inflammation. Okay, rework your environment, clear past perceptions. Now that's projection, perceptions. So we actually have to get rid of all the other people that are involved. Change what you eat to fuel your mitochondria. Get out in the sun, but after you've cleared out your body of linoleic acid. It actually takes 7 years to do it properly. That is how pernicious it is. Well, it's in all your cells. But after about 6 months, you'll probably be fine. Okay, a natural illness. Well, if we can actually go back about 100 years, the onset of heart disease, I think there was one case in 1918. One case. Now it's the biggest killer in the world. What's an acceptable illness? I mean, is just dying of old age in your sleep. That's really it. It's when the body just goes, right, I've run out of time. Earth yourself. Now this again is important. I remember walking around during the cough years with my dog with bare feet everywhere. People looked at me straight. Well, there weren't many people out there doing it, so it didn't matter. And use vitamins and minerals to rebuild cells. I talk about it in the book because I went, why does intravenous vitamin C actually have the same effect as chemotherapy? Go figure. It's dirt cheap. Did you know that? You can actually shrink a tumour. Well, actually do way better than shrink a tumour. And what you're using is electrons in order to help the tumour actually just go away. Last one is to raise your energy. You received a gift from the Yudin. Where your Yudin moment was situated is where the gift of it resides. Mother Nature was doing something really cool. Or Father said, I don't care. Male, female, it doesn't matter. Gave us a gift in the Yudin moment. But we're told it's not there. It's a dis-ease and it should be shot and taken away. No. It's actually inside there is something that we can use. And so I call it the next moment. And this seems to be a connection to creator. Well, I said creator is whatever you want it to be. Yeah, it's just a connection, that intuition or something. And the next moment, it stands for something that's normal, expected, connected, where we have a strategy. It's like the antithesis, flip side of the coin. Everything against what was going. Oh, I won't tell you, but I can tell you a little bit of a story. Karen Davis is a friend of mine, EFT, brilliant practitioner, had liver cancer basically. Told she had 3 months to live and worked on clearing. She found out there was a fungal infection, but also she really did genuinely have liver cancer. She worked with me, we cleared out a lot of that. She's still around 5 years later. I mean, admittedly, she's been in and out of hospital, I will tell you. And the next moment we created was for her to go off and do some great things in the world, and she's still doing great things in the world. But, I did speak to her recently, she said, I'm in hospital again, bloody hell. And she keeps getting infections, I think possibly through other means, but, she shouldn't be here. And she still is. Liver cancer, you do not survive liver cancer. End of story. You just don't. So, and she's still here, and still kicking and still screaming. And no, she didn't do chemo or radio. She just said no. She did, other sort of stuff, including a lot of detox, a lot of this sort of stuff, and she worked with me on clearing a lot of the crap out. And and she's still here. Great, lovely lady. So the 5 steps cover all areas of healing. In conclusion, nature does not make mistakes. I didn't really say that. It doesn't. She doesn't. She's very, very smart. Way smarter than the captured system. So I think, it ain't about money, is it? Mother Nature's not saying, well, I need you to pay me 5,000, or 20,000 or a million. Udin's trigger disease, next moment's sustained well-being and healing is all about energy. It really is. End of stories. Let's do a demo. Or what to do next. We're running, you can train ACE online. You can actually learn this stuff with me. You can be a client. We're doing weekend workshops. We're also doing retreats. We're going to do a 2-day retreat coming up very soon. It's very inexpensive, actually. Let's do a demo.